Hi, I'm Versandra and welcome back to Draugen. Yes, I'm coming, Lizzie. We just came out at the convenience store and we're on our... Yes, I'm on my way. How did you get up there?
I found it, Teddy. The cliff. I'm standing right below it.
What are you doing? This doesn't concern us.
A little girl died. We're staying in her home, for God's sake. Are you completely without heart? Get yourself up here, Edward Harden, right this minute.
Okay.
Whoops-a-daisy.
Dude, you are old, man. Cool. I can hear a goat.
What is this?
Where little Ruth died.
You're being morbid. And this is a distraction. I'm here for Betty, not because some girl
Edward!
got herself...
You insensitive brute. You're like the Tin Woodman, no heart. You know, you've grown cold and mean in that horrid study of yours. With only books and bugs to keep you company for years and years and years. There are other people in this world, you know. It's not all about you. You're going to do this. If not for Ruth, then for us. We're going to figure out what happened to the poor girl. Together.
Yeah. Flowers, you notice it?
That's been here a while.
Didn't you say it happened over a month ago?
You'd think her family would have replaced it with fresh flowers.
Is that blood?
The girl could have hit her head on that rock. There would have been plenty of blood.
That's awful. I think there's something behind it. Can you move the rock aside?
Show us your big, strong biceps. It looks like a part of a doll.
It must be Ruth's.
Where's the head?
Maybe the killer also decapitates dolls.
Hold on. This pin. This is old. Very old. Looks like something from the Viking era.
We are in the land of Vikings.
This could be 1,000 years old. It does not belong in a child's doll.
Who cares? Ruth is dead and you're obsessing about a rusty old pin? Let's go further up. Maybe we'll find more clues. Come on, old sport. It's not far.
Can you wait just 1 minute so that I can catch my breath? Huh?
Man.
You follow the same
Whoa.
path, Betty? Or am I just stumbling
She's already
through
up there.
darkness?
Man. This looks nice.
You can see clear beyond the edge of the world. You're right. It is awfully chilly.
One
Oh,
second.
Teddy Bear. We need to take you out walking more often.
So, the girl fell from up here.
Was pushed, you mean. Can you see where she fell?
If she fell headfirst on that rock, she'd have died instantly.
Edward, honestly.
You wanted to learn more. This is you learning more. She hit her head and fell into the bush where I found her doll. Happy now, Alice?
I'm not. What was she doing up here in the first place?
Playing? She was a child. Children play in dangerous places.
There must be more to it. Let's find out where this path leads.
No, absolutely not. I don't have time for this nonsense. We're running out of daylight, and Betty's still... You're still out there.
Betty has been gone for a while, dude.
Lissy? Slow down. I can't keep up with you. Who knows what's up there? It's not worth the risk of falling and breaking something. Lissy? Are you there?
Teddy,
Oh, my word. Look away, Lissy.
is this what happened to the villagers? They killed themselves?
It's one body. Let's not jump to conclusions.
What about those fresh graves at the church? There were at least half a dozen of them. Did everyone just die?
They're not necessarily connected.
Oh, come on. Ugh, this is just ghastly. What does that say?
God forgive me.
Don't suicides go to hell? Isn't that what your father said when
Stop.
your mother drowned herself? Sorry. Who was he? One of the Fretlanders?
It's not Johann or Frederick. And he's too old to be Simon.
Do you think this has something to do with Ruth? Maybe she came across the hanged man before she died, and it scared her. So she ran, and
This happened later.
there's some consolation in that, I guess. Maybe it's the killer. The guilt ate him up, and he offed himself.
That's just speculation with no basis in fact. There's nothing more to do here. I'm going back. Let the poor soul rest in peace.
Does it look like he's resting in peace? You're just going to leave him hanging? You're an insensitive brute.
I'm here for Betty. It's tragic, but really none of my
Oh,
concern.
Betty, always just Betty. You don't care about anyone else. What if that was me up there?
Whoa.
Would you care then? All you do is obsess over a scarf and a hat and ugh.
It's all I have of Betty.
Betty, there she is again. Edward, the hanged man, he's someone. No matter what he did or didn't do, he deserves respect. Would you please just do this one decent deed? If not for me, then for yourself. Or for your Betty.
I'm going to be sick. I can't do this.
Yes,
Yes,
you
you
can. Teddy. Edward. I know you can. You've been through much worse. Where are the Fretlands, Edward?
It's been 2 days. If they're not back tonight,
They're not coming back.
perhaps they left after their daughter died.
Was murdered, you mean? Isn't that what we think happened?
Excellent.
Penny for your
When a
thoughts?
tragedy befalls them, Edward thinks people tend to look for a scapegoat. The simplest solution, he believes, is often the correct one. The villagers believed Simon killed Ruth, and so most likely everyone did.
Can we talk about this tomorrow?
No, I want...
I'm sorry.
You're exhausted.
I buried a corpse today, Alice.
I know. I'm sorry. Why don't you sleep in the guest bedroom?
The couch is fine. The Fretlands could still come home.
Alright. Just don't come crying to me if you wake up with a crick in your neck. I'll be up for a while, if you feel like talking.
I really thought I'd find Betty today.
Well, I told you not to get your hopes up, Edward. I mean, we just got here. It's a big place. She could be anywhere.
It's just the thought of her alone out there in the dark.
She's a tough cookie, your Betty. Tougher than you, teddy bear.
That she is.
No, man. She pops up everywhere. Ooh. Have I read this? No. Dear Mrs. Fretland, I trust this letter finds you and your husband in good health. Thank you for your gracious invitation to stay in your home. Your gracious invitation to stay in your home this October. I hope it will present no inconvenience to your family. I am presently preparing for the Atlantic voyage on the SS Bergensfjord and plan to depart Boston later this month. I have still had no word from my sister Elizabeth, though I hope she has made it to Grovik in the time since the last letter. If this is the case, and if at all possible, I would greatly appreciate receiving a cable with the news. If Elizabeth cannot compensate you for the cost, I will of course do so as soon as I arrive. In regards to the date of my travels, I shall be arriving in Ålesund via ferry from Bergen on October 5th. I will something.
I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
Can we please put the mannequin away?
Where are you, Lissy?
Over here, Teddy!
What are you doing?
Betty will want these back.
I don't think it's healthy
Not now,
to...
please. I'm exhausted.
Dude, this is creepy.
Quite the day, huh?
I'm ready to pass out. Where will you sleep?
I'll be up for a while. My mind's simply racing.
Don't stay up late. Wake me if you hear the Fretlands arriving.
Of course. And I'll keep my eyes open for any ghosts that might want to haunt you in your sleep.
There are no...
Hush now. Sleep.
Home Alone. Day 3. Please move the mannequin away. Guessing there's nothing new here.
Lissy!
Upstairs!
Okay.
Teddy? Is that you?
Alice!
I'm upstairs.
This is her room.
Hmm?
Are you paying attention? Ruth. Can you imagine? One moment you're living a perfectly happy life, and then... nothing. Darkness. Forever and ever. Maybe
dark.
there's something here that can tell us what happened to her.
This is a waste of my time.
We might be the only ones left to tell her story, Edward.
You're just being melodramatic. I'll help you look.
Jesus, Edward is annoying.
Ruth was an artist.
This is very primitive.
Have you ever met a child, Edward? She wasn't Monet, she was 8. This must be the village church. That's Ruth and her family on one side of the aisle, Simon and his father on the other.
A community divided.
What's on the face of the dude all the way to the left. Or this looks like he has something on his nose. I don't know. I don't know. That's another creepy doll. Yeah, this is the part about Draugen that I read.
Draugen.
Hey, the undead monster from those folk tales you read.
What an odd book for a child to have.
I don't know. Children love scary stories. This looks interesting. Read some of it to me, please.
Ooh.
In Norwegian folklore, the appearance of Draugen, the reanimated corpse of a drowned mariner, heralds death. Draugen haunts the black seas in a shattered boat. The beast has a man's body and wears a sou'wester, but instead of a head, there is tangled seaweed, and the revenant's chilling cry freezes mortal blood to ice. Draugen has the power to enter the dreams of the living. If you wake from such a dream, you have been spared, though someone close to you... That's enough of that. It's nonsense, of course. Not something a child should be reading.
Do you think Draugen took our boat? Maybe he's out there, on the fjord, waiting for nightfall so he can return to shore.
No.
And your soul lacks poetry, Edward Charles Harden. I pity you.
Yeah, the last sentence that I didn't read is like, if you're spared, someone close to you will either suffer a great accident or die.
Ruth never finished this. What does that spell? F-O-R-B.
Banelson. The curse.
Who's that figure supposed to be? It's creepy. It looks a bit like the Draugen in her book.
A figment of her imagination. But the box she drew... It looks like this box under her desk.
Really? Let me see. Pull it out.
Ooh.
What is this?
I believe this might qualify as actual treasure.
Is that Norwegian money?
Sort of, but ancient. Viking coins.
Are they valuable?
Not in terms of monetary value, but historically. They belong in a museum.
Looks like Ruth had her own private museum.
Why would a child have these artifacts?
She must have enjoyed collecting and playing with them.
These are much too precious to play with. She should have given these to an adult.
She was a child, Edward. To her, they were just shiny toys. Wait! The pin! On the doll!
This is where it came from. Her collection.
But where did she find these treasures?
A dig, a gravesite. Wherever she found them, she wanted to keep them hidden.
You think someone found out?
These items wouldn't necessarily be worth much, except to a historian or archaeologist.
What if this is how... I mean, if someone learned she'd been collecting treasures, they might be willing to do terrible things.
There's still no sign of the Fretlands.
Maybe they left town after Ruth died.
What's the point of this? I should be looking for Betty.
I hate you sometimes. She made her bed that morning. Before she...
Or her parents did. It doesn't matter. It tells us nothing.
Why are you like this today? Betty's not the only person in the world that matters.
She matters the most to me.
Ain't that the truth?
Oof.
She found something.
Where's that supposed to be?
A cave. Or the...
Mine. It could be. What did she find?
Her Viking treasure. Of course.
I really fun that they can, like, if I looked at that painting or drawing first, she wouldn't have said the last sentence, but since I found the Viking treasure, she adds that sentence, which I really like.
That must be Ruth and Simon's fathers.
Perhaps. They weren't on the best of terms.
They look like they want to kill each other.
To a child, maybe it looked worse than it was.
Children are more insightful than you give them credit for, Teddy Bear. There's a story here. The treasure box, the drawings.
The overactive mind of an imaginative child.
Well, she didn't imagine the Viking artifacts. You shouldn't be so dismissive. The drawings could be her way of dealing with traumatic
This is
events.
what happens when I read you the principles of psychology. You get notions.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Ruth was troubled. The village was troubled, and... Is that a bell?
The church bell. Someone's here. Maybe... Betty.
Why would Betty ring the church bell?
Perhaps she's in trouble. I need to get to the church right now.
Wait, isn't it more likely to be the person you saw the other night? We
I
should be
told
careful.
you, I'm not sure that was anything. Come on.
Go ahead. I'll catch up with you before you get there. I need a minute to think about that all.
Jesus. Edward needs to calm down about Betty, man. Okay, it didn't stop. I thought it stopped for a second. But they're so long between the chimes. Wow, you're not panting right now. I'm impressed. Maybe his cardio is helping. Got walking up and down the mountains. What's that? That's black goat. I don't like that black goat. It looks amazing. I can draw. I'm not sure if this is the right time to start drawing though. But I'm gonna draw. Draw the church. So I have something else to fill out the pages with. It's a nice church. And I think it's one thing that's kind of cool. That's a lot of old wooden Norwegian churches actually have dragon heads. Not all of them, but some of them. Which I think is
All
quite
these fresh graves. Do you
it's
think
quite
that
interesting.
maybe
No.
Betty...
No.
But
You wouldn't understand. Elizabeth and I, we have a bond.
God, Edward. Your obsession with her is really starting to grate.
Yeah.
No one's touched these since yesterday. Regardless of how they got past the boards, there's someone in there.
Who did this?
Someone who'd lost their faith.
Gone fishing?
God is not here.
Well, of course he isn't. You won't find God in a church. God is the wind in the trees, the grass between your toes, the brook that runs
That's
through.
nature, not God.
Can you peek through the boards? See anyone?
No.
Listen! The bell! They're still in there!
Nope. Nothing.
Hello? I heard the bell.
This is giving me the
I'm here to help.
heebie-jeebies.
These boards look flimsy enough to break.
So now you're a strong man. Going to break boards.
Look at that. The Ethel becomes an Edward. I didn't think you had it in you, old fruit.
Be quiet.
Ooh.
Betty? Are you here? Hello? This is Edward Harden. I'm looking for my sister,
Stop
Elizabeth.
shouting, Edward. We're alone. There are only ghosts here.
There are no ghosts.
I don't know about that.
Oh yeah, the rope scared me. It's a chandelier. Ooh.
Lizzie, look. Betty's gloves. They are definitely Betty's.
Oh, for
She
Pete's
got these
sake.
in Boston before she left for New York. She bought them at Woolworth. I remember the day She's here.
Where? And why would she leave her clothes lying around? It doesn't make sense.
She's sending me a message. She knew I'd recognize her gloves, her hat. She's left a trail for me to follow, like Ariadne's red thread.
We're not in a
Betty would
labyrinth.
have left more crumbs.
Betty, you're turning into such a pill.
Yeah, man. Chill. Is there anything else between the benches? There's a... Can it... No? You will not move.
What's this rope for?
The bell.
What happened here?
The sign on the door. God is not here. Their faith was challenged, and it didn't survive.
I had no idea. And no way to read that.
What's that?
The last sermon that was held here.
What does it say?
The vicar's handwriting is hard to decipher, and the language. He talks about the village being divided for 20 years. This sermon was held on the anniversary of the accident this past summer. He's asking the congregation to help heal old wounds, to forgive, move on. Something to the effect of, you sit in separate aisles in God's house.
Like Ruth's drawing. I told you, she was perceptive.
Tilgi varandra.
Edward?
Forgive each other. It addresses Johann and Frederick directly, but I wonder if they were even here.
Remember the wedding picture? They were close friends once. How could they allow their grudge to escalate until...
You call each other traitors, but the only thing you've betrayed are the bonds that unite us. It sounds like Grovik was split in two, between those who stood by Johann and those who supported Frederick.
Because of Ruth?
This sermon is from before that. No, this is all about the preceding 20 years of division and disagreements. Here's something else. Many of you believe Grovik was cursed 20 years ago. God has not cursed you. This curse is of your own making.
Ruth's drawing mentioned a curse. What do you think that means?
It means they believed they were cursed, and that they needed something or someone to blame for their misfortune.
But yeah, I'm gonna leave this episode here. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.